Interface Video presents Fairfield Today. Brought to you by Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan, Fairfield Medical Center, FAIRHOPE Hospice and Palliative Care, the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities, Dagger Law, and the Frank E. Smith Funeral Home.
Hi, and welcome to Fairfield Today. I'm your host, Temple Custer-Montanez, with the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities. And 'tis the season. Who could even imagine? The last 9 months have gone so quickly, and there's been a lot of changes, but I'm glad to tell you that a lot of things are remaining the same this year. And one of those is that it's going to be the holiday season in downtown Lancaster, and that includes the social purpose enterprise of Fairfield ED, Art and Clay on Main, and Square 7 Coffee House, located at 150 West Main Street in downtown Lancaster, historic downtown Lancaster. And so I'm very excited today to focus on the happy and focus on the holiday. And with me is Mitsi Nicewanger, who is the general manager here at 150 West Main Street. And we're going to talk a little bit about what you can expect from Art and Clay and Square 7 throughout the holiday season, which, believe it or not, has already started. It's the beginning of November, but there's some decorations out. There's new ceramics coming in. People are calling and asking about how they're going to be able to make their gifts this holiday season. And Mitzi, the good news is they're going to be able to do just that.
They can make whatever holiday ceramic that they want to make, and some of the old vintage pieces that they like working on every year, and of course we have new pieces as well. Sticking with trends and also finding some really unique pieces that you can't find anyplace else. And so we're providing lots of opportunities for people to come in and have a fun experience with their family.
Well, and I think
as usual,
the key phrase there is experience, because at the very crux of what you're doing here is providing an experience for families, for loved ones, for friends to get together, to spend some quality time together, which I think we value more and more now as we've gone through the pandemic, and to create something and to create a lasting memory, and then to have a token that goes with that memory. So that being said, of course, I know that you have gone to great lengths to make this a very safe experience for everybody that comes in, whether they're coming in for their favorite hot holiday beverage or whether they're coming in to continue the tradition of painting ceramics. So let's start with that. We won't focus on it too heavily, but we do want people to know some of the modifications that you've made here to make this a fun and safe experience.
Yeah. At the end of the day, they can still have the same experience that they've had before in terms of painting with their families, having some creative time, spend as long as they want. We're not limiting the time. We're not doing reservations because we want people to be able to create on their own schedule. So we did modify our hours for the pandemic, and we have increase those again for the holidays. So starting November 1, we are opening back up for Friday evenings. We are having some live music events throughout the holidays, and we'll also have live music on Saturdays. Our Saturday hours we also ramped back up, and in terms of our modifications and how things look different. Your experience is really going to be the same. We, of course, there's the mask mandate, and we have to follow that. So Square 7 is a little bit different in that there's no on-site consumption. But we're doing everything we can to
and that means
bring
the
you
Square
the product.
7 beverages. So you can't.
All the Square 7 beverages and pastries are available for carryout.
For carryout,
you
okay.
can't have. We can't do in-store consumption because there's the mask mandate.
Sure.
So if you're going to eat and drink, you have to take your mask down. And when we have painters here for, on average, people paint for an hour and a half to 2 hours. So they have to have their masks on for that time period. So we're a unique type of business where we have the coffee house, but we are primarily retail. So we are sticking to the mask mandate. However, the other modifications that we've made is in an effort to make things as safe as possible for our customers and our staff. So you'll see plexiglass across all of Square 7, and we have done things like we've gone to hands-free faucets and hands-free towel dispensers and hands-free hand sanitizers and soap, and things like that. The bathrooms are open, and we have visitors here for a long time, so we want things to be as comfortable for them as possible.
But I've noticed too, some of your tables are a little further apart too.
So our max capacity is at half, and in order to do the 6 feet, you have to have 6 feet completely around the entire table. So we have, 2 tables together here where we can have 8 people. So especially at Christmas, you'll get large families coming in. And we have this room that we use a lot for large families that can be used up to 12 people, which generally we would have up to 24.
Right.
And also at Christmas, to provide more seating space, we close our wet clay room down so that we can put 24 more seats. So this year it'll have 12 more seats.
Right.
So we're providing safety wherever we can. And out front, again, it's about half the capacity of seating that it normally is, and that's to make sure that we're doing the 6 foot parameter all the way around.
Okay.
We did start bringing back live music though, and so we'll push the tables just a little bit further back, so there's that nice strong barrier. And then, so people can come in and enjoy live music like they've gotten used to in the last several years with the holidays.
Well, that just adds to the whole festive atmosphere.
We just want the experience to be as normal as possible and always enjoyable.
Well, I love that, and I know everybody's craving, normalcy right now. So, one thing that I think that's been great about Art and Clay throughout this whole pandemic is that you've come up with some ways too and listen, we know how popular this place is during the holidays, and you talk about reducing capacity, but you've come up with some great ways that if you can't get in here or you're not comfortable sitting around, that you actually have to-go painting now.
Yeah, so
which my kids have taken advantage of. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and a lot of our regulars have taken advantage of that. So you do still have the opportunity to create at home, or if at a family member's home, if you're doing a large gathering just with family. We're doing party pogo kits. Pogo means pottery to go.
Awesome. I love it.
So anything that we have on the floor can be put into a pottery to go kit. We have taken some of our most popular items and some of our seasonal items throughout the last, what are we at, 8 months now?
I think so. 108 months, it feels like.
We've kind of learned what's popular to have available on the website. What people are really gravitating towards. We want to make sure that is primarily available.
And I think that's important to tell people too, that you can find all this information on the Art and Clay website, because it can get a little confusing.
It's a lot. It's a lot. My staff, it's a lot to consume and a lot to remember when people are like, "What are you offering?" We have to go to notes and make sure that we're covering all the bases.
Sure right now,
we try to make sure that it's clear that yes, there are specific kits available online, and we have like 3 pages of them, so there's a lot. But you can also come in the store and you can pick out any piece that we have on the floor, and we'll make it into a pottery to go kit for you. So that works for people who they really want to select their colors, they really want to select their piece if there wasn't something online, and they feel comfortable getting out and about in the community to an extent.
Right.
They're not quite comfortable with sitting down in an enclosed environment for 2 hours.
Right.
But they still want to have that experience. And
and I like that
this is an option for them to take it home.
You can decide that right at the last minute too. It's not something you have to commit to over.
Yeah, we'll do the pogo kits as a walk-in.
Awesome.
And the online kits are available 7 days a week.
Excellent.
So you can do it in your pajamas, at 10 o'clock at night, and we'll have it for you when we open the next day.
Doing a lot of thing in our pajamas, right?
Yeah.
I said the other day I have a lot of yoga pants that haven't been to yoga, but I've been wearing them a lot. So anyway, well, when we come back, we're going to take a look at some of the new offerings that Art and Clay has for the holiday season. Some new bisqueware. I can't wait to get my hands in there. I want to paint right now. Yeah. But we're going to take a look at those when we come back.
Welcome to Dream Machine. Like to be part of Dream Machine, keep me busy, and it's also important that we do it together as a group, and we plow and plant, and we have lots of produce. We have tomatoes, like one here, and gourds, cucumbers, squash, strawberries, beets, microgreens. We also have flower arrangement, and we also sell bags, those tote bags, out of animal food bags, and we sell them out in the market, farmers market.
It's a special place that keeps people healthy by eating a couple fruits and vegetables. I always show people, first time they pick raspberries and green beans, I show them how to do it like they do it wrong. Picking raspberries and green beans is simple, easy for me. We're entering some things in the fair like pumpkins, the gourds were growing, and everyone likes them. Tasty.
Hi, and welcome back to Fairfield Today. I'm your host, Custer-Montanez, with the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities, and I am spending the morning at Art and Clay on Main and Square 7 Coffee House, located at 150 West Main Street in historic downtown Lancaster. Now, Art and Clay and Square 7 are social purpose enterprises of the Fairfield County Board of DD, and what that means primarily is that we offer employment opportunities and trainings to people that are supported by Fairfield DD. And Mitzi, do you want to tell us just a little bit more about how that works and what those internships look like for individuals that are exploring work opportunities and also looking to hone soft skills and employment skills?
So we have an internship that runs, it can run up to 10 weeks. It depends on the individual and what opportunities they're looking for and what sort of skills need to be, either taught or polished. But like I said, it could be up to 10 weeks, and they do get minimum wage. They're paid the whole time. So they come in for about a 2-hour shift, 4 days a week. They work directly with a job trainer. And we're teaching all sorts of soft skills that can be transferable to really any type of job. But the whole time while that they are doing this job training, we have job developers that are working for them to help find them employment, more permanent employment in the community, if that's the direction they're going. We're also teaching independent living skills as well. And a lot of the individuals that come into this internship might be their very first work experience, or maybe they've had work experiences that weren't successful. So we're going to take some lessons from that experience and help to set them up for success in the future by teaching them how to further improve their skill set.
Well, and I got to say, this is no easy place to hone your skill set. I mean, I know that I've worked down here before as well, and you have a lot of offerings going on, especially this time of year.
Which brings a lot of opportunity for learning.
Right, I love
which
that.
is really wonderful. And on the art and clay side, I had mentioned earlier that our average customer comes in for an hour and a half to 2 hours. So if an intern is having a 2-hour shift, there's not tremendous opportunity to learn a lot of things with an individual customer if we're teaching customer service skills. So we have to find all these other things for them to do. There's cleaning, there's organizing, there's replenishing inventory. But we love doing the face-to-face communication and learning, maintaining eye contact, an appropriate level of voice, and how to appropriately talk, to people in a sales situation.
Right. Well, you've got a lot of stuff to sell, especially this holiday season, because I'm looking down the table there.
Yeah.
And your inventory it's got to double this time of year.
Probably quadruple.
Well, as we've been filming this, I've seen the FedEx guy go by twice with big boxes and pallets of ceramics coming in. So I know 'tis the season. Mitzi, tell us a little bit about some of the new products that are coming in for holiday 2020.
So fortunately, we were able to get a hold of the most popular item of the season, the gnome tree. This fellow right here.
Oh my gosh!
Love him or hate him, he is popular right now. And we got a hold of this. I was able to, purchase this in July, and he just came in a week ago.
So cute.
And our vendor has already run out of them for the season. They're making them as quickly as they can. They designed them in-house and are making them in-house, and it's one guy that's doing it.
Oh my gosh.
So you can understand all the PYOP, Paint Your Own Pottery studios across the country wanting to get their hands on these. There is a limited number. So we started, we released them as a POGO kit last week.
Which is the pottery to go.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And we are already down to half of our inventory.
Right. Can we go ahead and put one of those in my trunk while I'm here? Because I
No,
think
ma'am.
I need one of those. They're so cute.
But yeah, this is a light up, and a lot of times at the holidays we'll have different items that have the holes cut through the ceramics for a votive or a light up, and there's two different things. So this is a light up. He
So it
gets
has
a
an electrical
cord and a
cord.
bulb. A little nightlight bulb, and then
Okay.
little peg lights that go in these holes.
So cute.
And then some of these items also,
I love
like
the
this
Cousin Eddie.
camper.
There's an RV.
Right, and then this smaller tree also is a light up.
More traditional.
This
Okay.
is brand new this year. This is a Santa, and he is a votive.
Okay.
So these
So is it
holes
open
are
in the
for.
back?
Yeah.
Oh,
So you just
underneath. Okay,
Yep.
all right.
And then he has these holes so that the candlelight can go through.
So cute.
And this also is a votive.
I did one of those
Christmas
last
Eve
year.
service. Yeah, this is wonderful. An oldie but goodie. This is a new one for us. This is a nativity, also votive. It has the hole in the
that's
back, so you
pretty.
can just slip a little candle in there, and you can, it can be a candle or it can be battery operated.
Oh, that's so sweet.
And then gnomes are so big right now, and they turn into elves and Santa here at Art and Clay. So this is the stacking gnomes, which is going to be laughing elves.
Okay.
Is the sample that we're working on. This is my favorite piece
Oh,
this
that'd be
year.
cute
This is
if you
brand
could put
new.
people's names on.
So
for
that's
different-
what our sample is. It's in the kiln right now to put on the floor soon. And we thought we were real unique in that. And the first customer, as soon as we put them out Friday evening,
Came in and painted names.
she sat down and she painted names. Yeah, so
That's
a
awesome.
stack of 4. It's really great for she was doing it for her mom. They have 4 grandkids in the family, so perfect.
Right.
Perfect there. But I do want to add that we are lucky enough to have 2 calligraphy artists on staff right now, which is kind of a unique art form. It's kind of a new trend to do
Right.
what's called modern calligraphy and cafe writing, that sort of thing. We have 2 that are very good at it on staff, and so
So if you don't trust your own handwriting,
for a small upcharge,
Okay.
and I mean small dollars, we will write
That
the
is so
names
worth
on
it.
there for you on anything, on any of the ornaments, on
because you don't want to
any of the
spend 4
light
hours
ups,
painting something and then
and then have
screw
your
up the-
own handwriting on it.
screw up,
right?
Or I'd probably misspell my
No, we
child's own
totally
name if
get
I
that.
did. Now
But
let's
we
talk about
also-
those personalized things that are hanging
So
on the
we
wall.
also
Those are cool.
are doing a lot of custom pieces. This
Okay.
is something we do year round, but
Right.
Christmas is when it really explodes. So
Aw, look.
we have been doing a lot with what we call paint prints
Mm-hmm.
and clay impressions. So this is a paint print. So this is just 2-dimensional, and we got a little foot and
Oh, it's
just
so
painted the
cute.
bottom of it and stamped an ornament right here. And then one of our artists wrote the name. You can do whatever color. We have tons and tons of ribbons. You can do whatever ribbon. You can do whatever color footprint, handprint. If they're tiny, maybe you can even put 2 on there. We have we have in entirety, when they go on the floor this week, we're going to have over 4 dozen ornaments.
Oh my gosh.
Different ornaments. And we'll have roughly 100 to 150 of each of those, and they will sell out. But so you'll have lots to choose from in terms of style, but we're going to do these events, and they are going to be primarily after hours, because we don't want that to cut down our people painting at the table that with that max capacity
Right.
being lower. We want to be able to have the people that want to paint be able to be here and have room to do it.
Right.
And then people who want to come in and do a custom piece, a clay impression or a paint print, we don't want to have to limit those numbers even more.
Okay.
So they're going to be after hours. We close at 6. So
Now,
after
I wanna
hours, it's going to be
talk
like a
about that, too, because
6:30.
You said you're going to do some after hours workshops as well. I think you
So
were telling me earlier.
this summer we had a lot of success with, we were really nervous about doing a class, because we do them in these classrooms, and we would have 10 to 12 people in there. Well, that's just too many right now.
Right.
So we worked with the Lancaster Parks Department, and we were able to get a space reserved.
At Rising.
They let us do at Rising Park.
I went out
right by
to
the
that.
tennis
It was
courts.
really fun.
Yeah. We did it Wednesday evenings, and we would do clay impressions, and on Saturdays we would do kids workshops, and we also would do clay impressions and paw prints, things like that. But we also were doing our classes outside. So we would have 2 people per 6-foot
Right.
table, one at each end, unless you came together. If you came together in the car, we're not going to keep you from sitting together at a table. So you could have your own table, but we got extra tables. We had 6 or 8 tables, depending on the class size.
So how
and
will that transition
spread
in the
them all
winter?
out. So what we're going to do is it's going to be after hours. We're not going to make you go outside.
Okay.
So we're going to have after hours when there's no customers coming in, there's no foot traffic.
Gotcha.
And it's just going to be 1 or 2 instructors per 8 to 10 people, and we will have the whole building to spread out.
Oh, fun.
To do that, yeah. And then we're also going to do.
So we don't have to go sit at Rising Park in the snow.
You don't
to paint
have
our
to go
ornaments.
sit in the cold,
That's
no.
awesome. Now,
No.
I know we don't have a lot of time left, Mitzi, but I want to make sure that everybody can take advantage of everything that you're offering. And I have to say, if you're not following Art and Clay and Square 7 on Instagram or Facebook, you need to do that, because they have a very, very active social media, and things are up to the date. You can even see live videos on there from time to time. She's got a very creative staff that's always doing wonderful interactive videos and whatnot. But this information is also available on your website,
On our website,
correct?
yeah.
Okay. There's so much that we can't possibly cover it all. And
Yeah, and
well,
check
we
out
could
our-
if you would just stay and tune in
Just
for the
keep on
next 4
talking.
hours. We'll
Yeah.
stay here and talk.
Yeah,
But
check out our YouTube also, because we've done a lot of demonstration videos for painting techniques.
so
That
tell
our
us your
customers in the store-
usernames on those.
Just Art and Clay, Art and Clay on Main. You can plug in either of those and it'll come up, and you can go to tutorial videos. And we also share some of our vendor videos that they've been doing.
Okay.
There's one that we like in particular because our vendor Gare, they make this guy right here. They've been really creative in coming up with ways to bring art to you at home.
Awesome.
And so their YouTube channel has really developed over the last 8 months, and they have a gal on staff because they're in Boston. They have thick Boston accents.
Oh.
And
Well,
they
that's
call
worth
her,
it right there to
They call
watch,
her
right?
the Boston Pata. And so the Boston Pata videos are on our YouTube now,
Awesome.
and they're a lot of fun to watch.
Awesome. Okay, so 150 West Main Street in historic downtown Lancaster, artandclayonmain.com, pardon me. And at artandclayonmain.com, you can also find all the social links to YouTube, Facebook, Instagram.
Yep.
You're even doing some of the. Are you TikToking? Are you Snapchatting? Are you doing
Snapchatting, yeah, we're doing a
Snapchatting?
little-
Okay,
yeah, we're doing a little bit of
I have a
TikTok, but-
15-year-old, so I'm hip on that. So thank you so much, Mitzi, for giving us a brief overview. It's going to be an exciting time down here this
Yeah.
holiday season. When we come back, we're going to talk to Superintendent John Pekar just a little bit more to just check in with him and see how things are going at Fairfield DD.
The Frankie Smith Funeral Home and Crematory in Lancaster and the Johnson Smith Funeral Home in Baltimore have a long and wonderful history of serving our community. Feel free to give us a call at 740-653-0652. Stop in and see us at either of our 2 locations, 405 North Columbus Street in Lancaster and 207 South Main Street in Baltimore. Respect for tradition, regard for change.
Fairfield Medical Center took care of me like I was family.
I was made to feel like I was the only person that they were going to see that day, even though I knew that wasn't the case.
Everyone at Fairfield Medical Center was very attentive. They just put my mind at ease.
I was there for 12 days, and I felt comfortable there.
We were people to them, not a number. They took the time to get to know us, our personalities.
Well, they saved my life. How do you beat that?
I don't know how I could have gotten through it without them.
Experience Fairfield Medical Center.
Hi, and welcome back to Fairfield Today. I'm your host, Custer-Montanez, with the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities. And I am sitting with John Pekar right now, Superintendent of Fairfield DD, and my esteemed boss. But I wanted to bring John in real quickly just to talk a little bit about where we are as far as, we're 9 or 10 months into the pandemic, how that has affected Fairfield DD and the 1,350 people supported by Fairfield DD as well as their families. So, John, if you could just kind of bring us up to date a little bit on how the agency as a whole has sort of accommodated all the needs and what the immediate future looks like.
Sure. Well, first of all, thanks for inviting me to do this morning, because it gave me a great chance to come in and get great coffee downtown at Square 7 Coffee House. It's
best in town.
The best in town for the last 10 years now.
And by the way, you can order that online on an app, and they have curbside delivery.
You can pick it up right off the front.
Yep, absolutely. I know. I've got mine too.
That's the first
Mine's
commercial
the one with
I've
the pink
ever-
lipstick. John's doesn't have any lipstick.
First
on the
commercial I've
top.
ever done on TV, Square 7 Coffee House. It's good for you.
Does the body good.
So anyway, it's been, obviously, as it has been for everybody, a very interesting time, a very interesting 9 months. we began last summer of 2019 working toward having people work more remotely and getting them out of the office, especially our individual support coordinators, who are those people who are, other than our school staff obviously, are the closest to the individuals that we serve in terms of coordinating their services and finding out what things they need. And we were working to get them to work more remotely so that they would be sort of closer to the action, as it were, rather than stuck in an office. And we were doing that slowly and methodically. And then February, March hits.
And then we did it rapidly.
And we went from 0 to 60 in like 30 milliseconds. Everybody stayed, and I can't say enough about our IT staff, who got all of the technology together very quickly to permit us to virtually go from to work almost totally remotely.
Baptism by fire.
From day one.
Yeah. I remember last fall emails going around about Zoom, and we were kind of like, meh, leave that to the IT guys. We don't know what Zoom is.
Yeah, what's Zoom? What's Microsoft
now it's a
Teams?
verb.
And now I think we've done something like 7,000 hours of Zoom meetings and Zoom calls. It's
thank goodness for Zoom
and Microsoft Teams. I mean, we do all that, but I have to say I didn't expect what we saw throughout the summer and into the fall. I didn't expect the staff to respond the way they did, and that's meant to be totally positive. I expected them to be able to follow up and to continue to provide quality services the way they have. What I didn't expect was how far beyond that they would actually get. How much they could take what is by anybody's estimation, one of the worst situations, one of the worst emergencies any of us have ever experienced, and continue going and continue marching and continue to provide the services and supports that folks need in our community. And I just, hats off to them in terms of how they pulled that together.
Well, and hats off to you and to your leadership as well, because I think that, it's not easy to automatically be forced to empower people that maybe you hadn't even thought yet, but I think by Fairfield DD empowering all these employees, that they've found really creative ways independently to meet people where they're at and where they're most comfortable.
Well, and you always wonder how much people really internalize the mission of any organization. And the mission of Fairfield DD is to bring about a vibrant community where people live fulfilling lives and make meaningful contributions. And I know most people can say that, but you wonder how people internalize that. This pandemic has showed me that people internalize that, live it. They understand what that means, and they will do anything that's in the way, no matter what, even a COVID-19 pandemic, to get that job done. So I couldn't be more proud to be part of an organization than I am this one, and that's after being here for 21 years now.
Right. And I think it's trickled down, because I see, the 300 and some providers that we have throughout Fairfield County have sort of followed the lead of Fairfield DD. They're using Zoom, they're using technology, they're trying to maintain that sense of community amongst people that we support. We've started things like virtual community, where we're bringing the community to people virtually. So there's been a lot of really creative endeavors that have taken place. I do want to talk, John, briefly about the school, because I know everyone's always concerned about the children that we support, and I'll let you address that real quickly.
Well, if there was anything that kept me awake during the summer months and going into the fall, it was, what are we going to do about kids coming back to Forest Row School? Many of those kids are medically challenged, they're medically fragile, certainly at greater risk than most other folks of contracting COVID. And so my worst nightmare was we open the wrong way, or we open and kids start getting sick, and God forbid, a child dies. That, it would always haunt me. What did we do, or what could we have done? So we've taken it very slow and very cautiously. We actually opened in a hybrid model, which wasn't like the hybrid model of typical schools. Our hybrid model was we did virtual remote learning on the computer, plus we arranged to have our staff visit students at home, which was a much different situation. They took that on very well, and that was something that was totally out of their wheelhouse and totally out of their comfort zone to do. But I've heard back from many of them that it was a great experience, because they see the situation on the other side, not in the classroom, but in the home situation. A few weeks ago, we started phasing kids back into the school, and just last week we had our second group we have 3 phases to bring kids back. last week we began our second phase of about a third of the students, and we've rearranged the internals of the physical space in the school.
And I love that, because I think a lot of people think of Forest Rose School that there's a classroom with 10 or 12 students in it, and that's not the case. It's not what it looks like right now.
Not only is that not the case, but we've actually managed to have 2 separate rooms for each class there, so that we've actually distanced kids and staff even more, which has been, again, quite interesting, and it was quite a challenge to pull off, given that everybody has space limitations, that seems to have worked out very well so far.
And on staff at Forest Rose School, of course, we have nurses, we have therapists, we have one-on-one aides. So each child may have a small team that works with them. So having 2 in a classroom might actually mean that there's 6 people in that classroom, but it still is advantageous. You can keep those 2 teams apart, and the learning goes on. I think it was really interesting too how many parents were anxious for their kids to get that normalcy back.
I was shocked by the number of parents who would contact us and say, when is school going to start again? Because I think
that's a very typical response for parents, regardless.
And I certainly understand that, but it was, to me, the thing that was keeping me up at night was something that the families were saying, could you please hurry up and get this done? But we're still keeping a really close eye on it, because our first priority is to make sure that the kids are safe, as safe as we can have them in that type of environment, and that our staff are safe. We don't want to put anybody at risk. So our situation today, as we all know from what's happened the last 9 months now, it could change tomorrow.
Well, and
we're ready to do that. That's the thing. We have plans ready.
You've been so fluid. Through this whole plan has been so fluid, and so I think that what people really need to know is that we didn't miss a beat. I don't think that we've dropped any balls, and I think the only thing that really changed was that the location from where we were reaching out, but the reaching out has continued, and the supports have continued.
The interesting thing too is I've talked with other superintendents of other county boards of DD, and one thing I've said to them was, it's very interesting to me that it sounds counterintuitive, but it seems like as a staff at Fairfield DD, throughout this whole pandemic, where people have not been able to get together physically, I think we've actually, as a team, grown closer, which has been just, again, at first blush, how could that be? But for example, for the first 3 months of the pandemic, our leadership team was meeting on a Zoom call to reconnoiter every day at 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Which was excellent.
It's something we could not have done physically.
No.
We would have thought, well, there's no way I'm coming in to do this and to do that, but I think that was a great experience, and to actually be able to speak with a lot of the staff who I wouldn't necessarily run into day to day, but to meet with them on Zoom calls. I think everybody's gotten much more close in a situation which would seem to intuitively drag you further apart. Other county board superintendents have said the same thing back. It's kind of surprising and very nice that it sort of changed the dynamics of the organization.
Excellent, excellent. So innovation, creativity, thinking outside the box, it's all kind of flourished in a flurry, if you will. But with all of these services and supports, maybe looking a little differently, you can find out more about those at our website at fairfielddd.com. We have all sorts of links there right now to new and exciting ideas, from child care relief funds to virtual community to virtual connections. So please check us out and stop by our website, or follow us on Twitter or Facebook at Fairfield DD, and you can find out all there is to know about Fairfield DD and all the fantastic people that we are supporting. So John, thank you so much for your leadership.
And if I could just say one more thing.
Absolutely, please do, because you're the boss.
Because I can.
Because you can, all right.
I do have to say that throughout this whole thing, one group of people that really kind of goes unmentioned, but certainly are key to this whole thing, are the 7 board members of Fairfield DD, who are the policy people who say this is the direction we want to go, and approve our strategic plans going forward, and approve our budgets, and approve the major things that drive this forward. And from the very beginning, they have understood throughout this pandemic and have been there as key partners, and without them we couldn't have done any of this. So I have to say
agreed,
that.
Agreed. We have definitely felt their support, as well as the support of our county commissioners. I think the whole community has pulled together. It has truly been a community effort. So thank you for everything that you've done, and for allowing people to remain safe, but also remain creative and find new and innovative ways to support the 1,350 people that are currently affiliated with Fairfield DD. So,
and before I leave, I'm going to get another
cup of the best
coffee in town.
Okay. Again, if you'd like more information about Fairfield ED, please visit us at fairfielded.com or check us out on Facebook or Twitter. Until then, I hope that you are finding many things to be thankful for at the beginning of this holiday season, and we'll check in again with you soon. I am Temple Custer-Montanez with the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities.
Interphase Video presents Fairfield Today. Brought to you by Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan, Fairfield Medical Center, FAIRHOPE Hospice and Palliative Care, the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities, Dagger Law, and the Frank E. Smith Funeral Home.